Trackhouse is one of the most interesting teams in recent NASCAR memory. From the way they started up to the way that they changed the game in different ways, whether it be expansion or anything like that, from the fact that they had Pitbull with them. Everything about Trackhouse screams cool. It screams different. And even with Pitbull leaving the team, same as Ty Norris, and having looked to openly expand and change themselves in different ways, this team that's open to change and has new drivers and sponsors, they, I think, are the most interesting team on the silly season side and on the overall OEM expansion side. Allow me to explain. Now, two drivers I think are safe with them: Ross Chastain and Shane van Gisbergen. The reason they're safe bets, well, one, for Chastain, he's the franchise guy at the moment. He's the one who is elite, who's running and competing for wins, who has plenty of sponsorship, and who has also competed for a championship for this team. He's marketable, and in every way, he fits what a top-level NASCAR driver should be. Is he a little unorthodox? Yeah, but that's the Trackhouse way. And I think with this, Chastain should be set for a long time with this team, unless he takes a huge nosedive in performance long term. Shane van Gisbergen is a different story. He is a Trackhouse investment. He's the top dog right now at road courses. Heading into any road course this year, he will be leading the odds or one of the top three in odds when it comes to winning that race. He has international appeal, which is very, very important with NASCAR, and now, with the expansion efforts that they're putting up to go worldwide, having somebody with his caliber and name, like SVG has, well, that is something that is invaluable in so many ways to the team. These two, for marketing, driving, everything alike, should be safe with Trackhouse for years to come. Now, they have one other driver on the team currently in Cup, and that is Daniel Suarez. Suarez is currently in his last year of his current deal, a deal that has basically been an attempt to resuscitate and save his career. He's underperformed, though. He has won a couple races, yes, but every single year, even as noted by Suarez, the performance has went down. And with a team like Trackhouse that's looking to compete with the Hendricks and the Gibbs and the Penske's of the world, they can't have somebody weighing down the ship and being the anchor. And in the fifth year of his deal, it's looking like not much is changing. I get that maybe he can have some kind of uptick later in the year. After all, we've had two super speedways and a road course this year, but Suarez is not somebody who's ever going to be competing for championships in the Cup Series, at least in the current form he has now. And it looks like he's the odd man out at Trackhouse, which I think is all the more difficult when you look at the pipeline they have built up. And that is Connor Zilisch. Zilisch is an 18-year-old phenom. He has a ton of hype and the talent to back it up. And yes, while he doesn't have all that much experience on the oval side of things and in NASCAR stock cars, he has the full cooperation and support, it looks, of Justin Marks, the man running Trackhouse. And Marks even said as much recently on NASCAR's radio.
We certainly want to give him as much opportunity as possible to get time in the Cup car, but it's also a little bit of balance for a couple of reasons. One is we want him to stay focused on trying to win this Xfinity Series championship. And, this is a guy that has raced so many different types of cars and different types of races the last couple of years and hasn't really, had an opportunity to be singularly focused on one championship run like he does this year. So, we want to kind of eliminate distractions and just make sure that he's in a position where he can focus on that. The other thing is it's hard for us to field four cars. I mean, it's a big effort.
Yeah.
We've done it twice already in the first three races of the season. It's a lot of work in the shop. We're not set up as a four-car team. So that's the balance too. And then obviously, with the Red Bull component, they love Connor. They want to see him in the Cup car. It's a discussion that happens inside the shop from a workflow standpoint. It's a discussion that happens with Red Bull, sponsor on the race car, and just kind of solving for all of that. So, I'm hopeful. I think it would be great for him. It certainly helps grease the wheels of that a little bit that he's already won in the Xfinity Series. So, he's in the playoffs, and maybe there's that opportunity to double up on another weekend coming up. But We just got to be smart and intentional about it, not throw too much at the kid at one time. But, his future's in the NASCAR Cup Series, and so any laps he can do in that car, will be helpful for him.
I mean, adding all of that up, the fact that he wants him to have some seat time. Yes, eliminate distractions on the Xfinity side, but then also go back and say with a win, he doesn't really have to worry as much about it. That, I think, is really pushing towards more Cup starts this year. The fact that Red Bull wants him in the car. Red Bull is a huge brand. I don't have to really tell you that, but it's true. Red Bull being in NASCAR will help NASCAR and in turn will help Trackhouse immensely. And with two drivers they're willing to invest in with SVG and Zilisch, these two being up in the Cup Series together would be important. And with Red Bull especially liking Zilisch, that is a huge vote of confidence from one of the biggest in the world to put money behind racing in any kind. And I would say this too. I think it is easily apparent that he is the heir for the 99. Daniel Suarez is a dead man walking in that car at this time. That is Zilisch's car when he's ready. But I think the question a lot of people haven't been asking, and I think it's an important one, is when will Zilisch be ready? He's got a ton of talent, but he's very young, green with these cars, and you have to at least have some kind of backup plan. Could Suarez do another 1-year loan, basically, of his career, and then have a dead man walking for another year kind of deal? Yeah, maybe. But it seems like Justin Marks and Suarez all have pretty much said the writing's on the wall, that Suarez is out after this year regardless. And so if Zilisch isn't ready for some reason, who could jump in that car? Well, if a ride does not open up for him in a better team than he has now, maybe somebody who could be a stopgap driver until a better ride opens up for himself would be Kyle Busch. He stays in the Chevy family, he gets an upgrade over RCR, Trackhouse gets an upgrade over Daniel Suarez, and you have a really talented, great driver that has seemed pretty friendly with Connor Zilisch and could be a good person to kind of preside over his career for a year and look after him as a mentor. That is something that's well into the realm of reckless speculation, but it's something I think that should be at least delved into and investigated in some way. But I think by 2026, it'll be Chastain, SVG, and Zilisch. All three of them are really competitive, especially Chastain in general, but SVG and Zilisch at the road courses. And Zilisch has the talent to be as good as somebody like Kyle Larson. So there's no reason to long-term hold him back in any way. But what other future changes could Trackhouse make? Trackhouse has looked very open to making changes regardless of what aspect of the team it is. Well, I think the big one is the OEM. Right now, Trackhouse is second tier to Hendrick Motorsports at Chevrolet. It's clear that they're never going to be the top team there because you're not going to outbid Rick Hendrick with Chevy. So what could be the options? Well, recent headlines have shown that Dodge and possibly Honda could be rumored to be in the NASCAR Cup Series. Dodge possibly as soon as 2027. If the deal is sweet enough, could Trackhouse possibly switch to be a Tier 1 top team to be on the level of Hendrick, Gibbs, and Penske? I don't think you can count them out. They're a team that if they see the grass be greener on the other side, will jump over there, and business-wise, will be brutal. And that's something I don't think a lot of other teams really have when it comes to that killer instinct, where Justin Marks seems to really have it. So there you go. I really think Trackhouse is the most interesting team in NASCAR right now. And I think that the possible changes coming up and the ones for sure coming up, well, they're only going to be even more interesting. And, well, we're going to be the winners at the end of it because one way or another, it's going to be a fun story to watch. So with that, be sure to leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.